What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video we have the Summer Cup Ultra League edition. So I dove into my first set of battles using a very strong kind of like meta line here, right? The Charizard Swampert core is incredibly strong, and then we have that Kingdra safe swap. And Kingdra does so well in this meta. It takes resisted damage or neutral damage because of that dragon water typing. It has beautiful moveset, and that dragon breath damage really starts to add up. And it was definitely like the MVP of this team. It really wove together the Charizard lead and the Swampert lead. So let me know what you guys think about this team in these battles, and let's go and get right into it. All right, getting into the first battle, we have Charizard on the lead versus Chandelure here. Okay, so a fire on fire here on the lead. Now I do have a lot of legacy moves on this team, but if you guys are looking to really build your like long-term Charizard, Wing Attack is gonna be the way to go because of that energy gain. So we're gonna go ahead and shield that first Shadow Ball, and then now we're gonna look to go for Blast Burn. And I know Dragon Claw is neutral and Blast Burn is resisted, but it still hits like a truck. Look at that, beautiful. We're gonna be able to farm down. We only had to give up one shield, and now we see an Electivire come in, so we're gonna go ahead and go for another one right away. I will swap out after throwing this charge move, but they decide to let it go. I'm going to swap out anyways, but that is a double Blast Burn land, and that is now going to be game one as they're going to go ahead and surrender here with Chestnut. So that's going to be a good battle. You have to respect Charizard. Blast Burn does so much damage. All right, we got Golisopod here on the lead. Now, this is a cool Pokemon that I want to check out later on this season. I still need a bit of extra candy. I might look to use my rare candy for it. But ultimately, I don't want to give it up right away because it could be more useful on more exclusive Pokemon, right? Maybe some raid legendaries or something. But we're going to go ahead and look to go for Blast Burn here against the double. We get a shield, so we're going to go ahead and go into the Kingdra now, as this is a really, really nice matchup with the Dragon Breath and 2-to-1 shield advantage. Now, what I was going back to Golisopod is it got access to Liquidation, which is a very nice water-type move that it desperately needed. Now, they went for the Wild Charge right there, lowering their defenses, and we're going to go ahead and let this Body Slam go through. It's not going to KO us, and now we can really dance this line of letting ourselves get as low as possible and then going for the Octazooka here to take out the double. If we get two shields, so be it. But they decided to let it go, and now we will see Tentacruel come in. So this is looking to be a good game. I can come in with the Swampert right here and lock down this Tentacruel as we're going to be resisting those poison jabs. Scald does do some nice neutral damage, but it's nothing that is shield threatening right now. What I need is the Golisopod versus Charizard matchup. I need shields here for the liquidations because it has access to Shadow Claw as a fast move, which is very, very nice. I know a lot of battlers are new, maybe not seasoned veterans, but Shadow Claw is arguably the single greatest fast move in the meta because of its damage to energy gain and the speed at which it goes. So we're going to go ahead. It's most commonly seen on the Sableye in the Great League, which is a very staple Pokemon, but Golisopod does have access to it. We're just going to keep going for these Dragon Claws here to try to get shields. They try to overfarm right there, but I think ultimately they're wanting to come in with Tentacruel and get energy because that's going to be their win condition. Now, my lose condition, I did this in the last video, my lose condition is not throwing the harder hitting charge move. So I can easily go for double Earthquakes in this situation. I still have one shield to stop another Scald, and they decide to let it go through. Boom! See ya! Did I startle you right there? Welcome back. All right, moving to the next one. We got Charizard versus Blaziken here on the lead. Now, I do have lead losses as well. I just literally put this in order from how I did these battles. But Blaziken, really nice Pokemon as well because it does have access to some great charge moves and shield baiting moves. But they decided to swap into an Amistar, which is very cool. I love seeing these spicy Pokemon in the meta. But we got to understand Amistar's like big rise to fame here, or what it can do against a Swampert is a Hydro Pump. So I'm going to shield. And thankfully, it was the Hydro Pump. You can't sneak by the booms. I'm the boomer right here. But we can now safely look to farm down as they're going to try to go for Rock Blast. I think it does have access to Rock Slide, but I feel like that might be Legacy. I could be wrong. Maybe you guys can let me go. Or maybe it was the Mud Shot that was Legacy. One of them was an exclusive move on Amistar. But ultimately, we can fully farm down. Blaziken, yeah, they just decided to surrender. We had full energy on a Swampert and switch alignment as well. Alright, so we got Charizard now versus Escavalier. Now, I don't have Fire Spin on this Charizard, so we're not going to be doing as much fast move damage, but it's still a good matchup. Now, they swap out into Poliwrath. So this is a situation where I really can't safely just swap right into Kingdra, and I don't want to come in with the Swampert because then I have to land. So what I was hoping to do is try to catch a Scald right there. I might have miscounted, I might have been one off, but my hope was to try to catch a Scald. But ultimately, this Poliwrath does have Dynamic Punch. They just showed it. And now I'm going to have to give up a shield in order to maintain switch advantage. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And this is the tough thing. With Mudshot, Poliwrath, I don't think I can farm down, so I'm just going to go ahead and pull early on the Octazooka and just make sure I maintain switch advantage right here, because I can still get an Octazooka off against the Escavalier if they try to fully farm me down, and it still does a good amount of damage. Like, Escavalier is only doing resisted to Charizard, right? Mega Horn, Drill Run, maybe the Acid Spray. You could consider neutral damage if you want to. But look at that. We got Kingdra. We took out the Poliwrath. We got the Escavalier low, and they swapped into Incineroar, and we have the Swampert. So that's going to be a good game. They decide to surrender. All right, moving into the next battle. We have Charizard on the lead versus Swampert. Okay, so obviously a tough matchup. I don't really want to risk trying to catch a charge move, so I instead decide to swap out right away. Now they decide to come in with Wall Rain right here, so they already have 2 waters, so we'll have to see what their third Pokemon is. So hopefully it's not a grass, but we'll have to see. Icicle Spear does neutral damage, but we can still put out a lot of damage with Outrage. And this is what's really cool about the Kingdra Safe Swap, especially in this meta, is it does so much damage. And I don't think there's anything that fully resists it. I could be wrong, but just off the top of my head, I think it's neutral across the board. No, there's the Escavalier, obviously, that resisted, but we have Octazooka, is what I'm getting at. You can either do neutral damage with Octazooka, or you can do neutral damage with Outrage. But ultimately, look at that. Hydro Cannon, nothing to us. We're going to go ahead and go for another Outrage right here. They're probably anticipating, right? They're anticipating the Octazooka, but we go straight for the damage, and we literally just took out a Walrein and a Swampert with 1 Kingdra. This Pokemon is so good in this cup. They have a Blaziken in the back, so we're going to go ahead and stay in with Charizard. Look to do as much damage as we can. I decided to go for Blast Burn, thinking that, you know, maybe they'll just let it go as they know it's probably over, but they decide to shield, so they're fighting the good fight. I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and shield myself just in case it is a Stone Edge. I am a boomer that does not like to get boomed, so they did shield bait me, which was very nice for them, but I'm going to go ahead and now swap into Swampert to try to catch the Stone Edge, but it wasn't. They decided to... Oh, okay, I ruined it. It was a Brave Bird. But we survive anyways, and Mudshot is going to be able to take them down, and that's going to be a good battle. Very well played. There's still the Swampert in the back, so we Mudshot down. Alright. But yeah, Kingdra Safe Swap, everyone. It's very, very good. Really nice. And if there was a Pokemon that resists... and I'm just showing you guys my full sets right here. That was a straight 5-0 right there. I know I'm not fully up to rating just yet. I'm a bit behind. But these are still good battlers, right? So we got Charizard here on the lead. This is going to be a mirror fight. Always fun to have. But ultimately, it's going to come down to what is in the back. So I decided to go for the Dragon Claw Shield Bait right here to see if they bite early. And let's see if they do. No, they decide to let it go. So that's really unfortunate for me. I'm going to go ahead and let this charge move go through, thinking they went for the same, but they went for the Blast Burn. So I'm losing the mind games already here at the start. It's not too bad, but they decide to swap out into Walrein. Why I was saying it's not too bad is because I still have good answers in the back for Charizard. Now, the Blast Burn does get a shield, and I'm going to come in with Kingdra. And this is why I like Kingdra versus Walrein. Is because of the raw neutral damage from Dragon Breath. If you think about this matchup with Swampert, even though we have 2-to-1 shields, we have to land Earthquakes. We have to land multiple Earthquakes in order to win. So in this case, I can just do so much damage with Kingdra and Dragon Breath. That's really a much better matchup. So we're going to go ahead and look to go straight for the Outrage right here. They're down a shield, so I really want to put pressure on that final shield or just get this Walrein out of there. We get the final shield, which is really nice, so I'm going to have to rely on my Swampert in order to basically win this game, as I'm going to go ahead and look to let this go. The Icicle Spear is going to take us out, and now what I want to do is come in with Swampert and catch a charge move on Charizard. So we do catch the charge move, and ultimately, my win con here I feel like is soaking energy in some way and let Swampert sweep. So let's see if we can do it. They decide to swap into Charizard. This was, I think if I was counting correctly, this is just going to be a Dragon Claw, so I'm going to let it go. And it was, so that's beautiful. Now I'm going to overload on energy. I decide to go for the Hydro Cannon just a bit early. I felt like they might have been closer than I thought, but ultimately I want to get that Charizard out of there. Now let's see what they have in the back. Remember, they still have Walrein. Let's see what the final Pokemon is. It's going to be Jellicent. Okay, we're going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake. This is how we win this game, right? Landing 2 Earthquakes and a Hydro Cannon, I believe. So let's see if we can pull this off. Now, they went 4 bubbles right there, and my thought was like, okay, it's going to be Bubble Beam. But it wasn't. It was a Surf. That is unfortunate for me, because now I have to overload on energy, and they swap out into the Walrein, which I was expecting. And that's why I held all this energy so I could go for Hydro Cannon, but Hydro Cannon's barely not enough to take him out, and they farm me down. That is going to be a good game. I thought for sure right there I was going to get that farm down and go for a second Earthquake versus Jellicent, but I could have shielded and won that game, but either way, good battle. All right, we got Crustle in the lead. This is obvious. This is terrible, but this is going to show why Kingdra is such a good save swap. We got a Pidgeot that decides to swap in, so a raw neutral matchup right here. What we're going to do is we're going to go for Octazooka. The Pidgeot's already taking a ton of damage from Dragon Breath, so we force a shield anyways. Octazooka would have done quite a bit as it is, and now they're deciding to go for the charge move. Now this is tough. I feel like I can let this go. It is going to be Feather Dance, because now I'm going to put them in a false sense of security. I'm going to go for the Outrage at the last second. Think about it. They just lowered my attack, so Octazooka probably shouldn't KO, but Outrage does. Boom. See ya, Pidgeot. Fully taking switch advantage right there with the Kingdra. Now we have a Swampert come in, and this is going to be so counterintuitive. Charizard has to come into Swampert. My win condition is with my own Swampert, 2 shields, and cleaning this game out. So this is really awkward to see, but Charizard has nowhere to go, right? You're facing off against a Crustle with Smackdown or a Swampert with Hydro Cannon. Like, choose your poison. Ultimately, our better matchup is going to be against the Swampert, because they have to throw energy in order to take us out, and we can still hit back incredibly hard. So now they're going to go ahead and go for another Hydro Cannon. This is totally fine. Charizard did its job. It soaked energy, and it did some great damage here against Swampert, and now I'm in a very, very good position with my own Swampert. 2-to-1 shields. There's a Crustle in the back, which we resist all the moves there. So this is, no, we don't resist all the moves, but we resist Smackdown, which is really nice. Now we're going to go ahead and go for the Hydro Cannon here, as it should be taking out the Swampert, and this is looking to be a good game. Don't want to go for Earthquake in this situation. It only does neutral damage because of that bug rock typing. But the Hydro Cannon here does super effective damage, which is perfect. This is why I sacrificed the Charizard into the Swampert, so that I could foresee this win condition for me, which is a Swampert with 2-to-1 shield advantage. So that's going to be a good game. They decided to just let it go through. All right, good battle. Moving in next one, we have Charizard on the lead versus Charizard. Once again, the Fire Flying fight off. Here we go. Now this is going to be a Fire Spin variant, which is interesting because it does have better coverage against something like Escavalier, but it falls a bit behind in terms of the energy gain. So the Blast Burn does land, which is beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and I think I let this go. Yeah, I decided to let it go. I had so many Charizard matchups today. Now they decided to swap out into Lapras, so this is again a good situation for us where we can safely look to go for a Blast Burn here and then come in with Kingdra. Remember, we only take neutral damage from Ice because of our typing. It's Dragon Water, so Dragon Breath here does a lot of neutral damage, but the one move we have to look out for is going to be Skull Bash. So I'm going to safely shield this charge move, and it was a Skull Bash. Beautiful. That means this the defense on Lapras went up, which means we get more energy, and they're not going to be able to do anything to us. So Kingdra once again coming in clutch right there for me, getting the full farm down, maximum energy. There's a Charizard in the back, which we can go for Octazooka right away, as they're like 1 or 2 fast moves away from a Dragon Claw, but they decide to let it go, and now there's going to be a Swampert in the back. So we've taken out a Lapras, we've taken out a Charizard. I know they're relatively low, but now we're about to put in work against a Swampert as well. The Dragon Breath damage just is unmatched in this meta right now. I go ahead and swap into my Charizard to catch the charge move. Was it an Earthquake? Yeah, it was an Earthquake. What a catch right there. We're going to come back in with the Kingdra and finish this game off, as Dragon Breath is just going to do so much damage. I safely shield this next charge move, even though it is just going to be a Hydro Cannon. It's not going to be enough to take us out either way if they get to another one, but Kingdra just putting in work today for me. Very solid Pokemon in the meta, and it's not XL either. This whole team, no XLs. All right, we got Charizard versus Pidgeot now here on the lead. Pidgeots are always a tough bird to face off against because it could be a Brave Bird or it could be a Feather Dance. It's always a mind game, right? It's the same thing like with Jellicent and Bubble Beam or Shadow Ball. But in this case, like a Shadow Ball that hits twice as hard. Now, we go ahead and go for the Blast Burn right away, and I decide to let this go. I thought ultimately, you know what, if it's a Brave Bird, so be it. But it was just a Feather Dance, so now I'm going to swap out into the Kingdra and get into that neutral matchup. We draw out an Ampharos, a Shadow Ampharos at that, which is actually very good for us because this means that even if I lose this mid-game, I can keep it away from Charizard and come in and load up on energy with Swampert. So what I'm going to do here is because I'm in the 2-to-1 situation, I'm going to go straight for Outrage. I want to get shield number 2 from them. So let's see if we can get it. No. Boom! See ya! Kingdra taking the mid-game. Wall Rain now coming in. We're just going to race to that charge move when we get to another Outrage. Again, putting so much pressure on them. Think about the charge moves on this team. Blast Burn, Outrage, Hydro Cannon, and Earthquake. There's 4. Then we get 2 shields now. This is a huge advantage for me. Let's see if we can not lose this game. All right, we're going to come in with the Charizard. They swap out into Pidgeot. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and look to shield this first one. It is going to be Feather Dance, and then swap out into Swampert and hope that I can get to this Hydro Cannon. Now, I banked a charge move right there on Charizard. I think, actually, I'm one fast move away from Blast Burn. But I go for the Hydro Cannon here. This Mud Shot damage is not looking to be enough in order to farm them down, so I'm going to go ahead and shield just in case it is a Brave Bird. But it was a Feather Dance! Oh no, things are not looking good. I'm going for the hard farm down, and I'm really risking it right here because if this is Brave Bird, which it is, we survive! We survive, and we get the Hydro Cannon off. Now, I could have won this game a lot better, but this is getting way too close. I go ahead and go for another Hydro Cannon here because we survived with 1 HP in a dream. This is going to get the Wall Rain down into the yellow. They go for the Icicle Spear, and now it's going to be up to Charizard and Blast Burn to win this game. We get that one fast move off, and the Blast Burn is going to come through. So, I could have won that game a lot easier had I gone for the, there was a lot of different ways I could have won that game, but ultimately, good battle right there. It came in clutch at the end, but this team, it was so much fun to use and really consistent. Kingdra, can't speak highly enough of it. All right, we got Charizard mirror match once again. This is what I was saying. I think I did 3 or 4 of these mirror matches today, but in this case, we're going to go ahead and go for Blast Burn now. This is probably going to get shielded in all honesty. That is a Shadow Charizard, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go for the baits back at me, but I'm just going to go ahead and respect the potential Blast Burn and shield, and it was a Dragon Claw. So now they're going to go ahead and get another one off, but I think I can survive Blast Burn, so I'm going to go ahead and let it go. And I do survive Blast Burn. Barely right there. Talk about know your Charizard. We're able to survive and go for the Dragon Claw. This isn't going to KO the opponent's Charizard, but it's going to get it low enough where I can farm down with Dragon Breath. And now we're in a 1 shield situation. Let's see what they decide to come in with. It's a Trevenant. Uh-oh. But this is where Kingdra really shines. I think so many people fear shielding the Octazooka that they don't respect the Outrage enough. And then when they do respect the Outrage, they get hit with an Octazooka. It's like a lose-lose situation. In this case, I'm winning. Boom! Nearly one-shots right there. Takes out the Trevenant. The final Pokemon is going to be a Swampert, so we're going to go ahead and come into that mirror match, and that's going to be a good game, very well played. We're basically going to be Dragon Breathing down here at the end. But Trevenant there really gave me a scare just because of what it can do potentially to this team. I mean, it might have been close if they shielded and then I shielded another Seed Bomb. I think I could have gotten to another Outrage. It would have been close. We won't know because I landed it. That's why I'm the boomer. And we're going to go ahead and go for another Hydro Cannon and just kind of close this game out. I'm going to go ahead and shield because I want to force them to throw energy here. Because now they won't be able to, they have to throw another Hydro Cannon in order to take me out, which means they're basically energy dry right here. So it's going to be a race from them getting to Earthquake versus me getting to Octazooka or just Dragon Breathing down. They opt to go for Hydro Cannon, which I was like, I think I survive. Yeah, we definitely survived right here. So we're going to be able to Dragon Breath down, and that is going to be a good game. See, they got to 8 right there. That would have been really close had they gotten it. All right, good battles right there. Overall, really strong showing, I think, from this team. A 9-1 run right here with the team. Charizard and Swampert, such a good core, and I think that Kingdra Save Swap is just so good. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you guys are having a good community day as well. And like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.